I think we need to have a discussion, guys, about the question of, is he a boyfriend or is he a trauma bond? Is he a boyfriend or is he a trauma bond? Because this one that you keep on going back, I'm not understanding. Oh, this one is beyond me. Oh. Now, why I'm talking about this is because I've experienced this a lot, where not only have I had this happen in my own personal life through like women that I've met along the way on my life journey, but even just women who have DM'd me saying that they've run into this issue with their friend. I might actually need to read this message out because this happened today on my story, where I posted it because I felt like this isn't just one person that needs to hear this. I think this is a very common situation. So this person messaged me, and of course it's anonymized. Please, how do I help my best friend who is demanding respect from a trash boy who she wants to be exclusive with, but at the same time, he is fucking people we know? I've just seen your video about neurodivergent girls becoming obsessed, and I'm scared she can see all the red flags, but is ignoring them, thinking he'll be different for her / their relationship is different to the other ones he's having. How many times have I heard this before? How many times have I seen this play out before? Many fucking times. So in response to this person's message, I said, because what I did was I posted the message on my story, but I removed their identity. So I said in response, you leave her to learn her lesson. It's her own time she's wasting. Many times I've experienced having friends who keep staying with men who don't respect them, and despite them cyclically calling me to vent and cry, they still go back after asking me for my advice, which is almost always to leave. This is why I implore women to have hobbies, interests, and relationships outside of one singular man. But straight women don't listen. It's draining, but I think there's a complexity to being there for female friends who like men more than they like being respected. I just leave them to it and focus on preserving my friendship with them to the best of my ability, because it's super annoying and I wish they would know that they won't be getting that time back. Some women don't have the intelligence or willpower to clock that they're being used, and instead stand firm in doing what's right and uncomfortable. I use their situations as vicarious lessons for myself, so that my time isn't entirely going to waste hearing the same complaining. I'm sick of you guys. Nah, I say this in the most loving way. I've said this before on this podcast. I think I have a whole episode dedicated to this, titled Are Straight Women Okay? So if you want to hear more about all the reasons why I think straight women are not okay and what they keep getting wrong, go listen to that podcast episode. It's in this same season too, so it won't be hard to scroll back and find it. But off the back of what I said in that message, it is very draining to see women just completely missing the point time and time again. And it's worse when don't come to me and ask me for my advice and then not take it. Because one thing about me, right, I don't give advice that nobody has asked for. If I see someone doing something and I personally wouldn't do it that way, I leave them to do it their way, because when it's my time to do it, I'll do it my way. Simple. But if you come to me and you're asking me for advice, it pisses me off when I've spent my time explaining and detailing a clear exit route, a clear channel of communication, and a plan for how you're going to recover in this period of being away from this man, only to see you go back. It's disappointing. It's very disappointing. I'm so disappointed, because I've seen women constantly harp on this belief that like, oh, things will be different this time, or yeah, he really hurt me this time for the sixth time, but he's really, really sorry. He said he's going to change. You're very deluded. You're very stupid. And that's the Nigerian auntie in me coming out. It did not stupid. Do you know what it means for a man to be a repeat offender and you're like, I think we're soulmates? That's stupidity. I don't like using the word stupid, but we have to call things what they are. That to me is stupid, because you know what? Stupid refers to a state of being where you're under some sort of spell of having your discernment taken away from you. That's the only way I can understand, because stupidity is not a state of being. I don't think anybody is inherently stupid. I don't. But I think stupidity is a state you can enter when you like men more than you like being respected. And I've seen it happen where women will just like be letting things slide. And I'm like, each time you let it slide, you're creating more and more of an environment where more of this is going to happen, because it's going to happen again. It's going to happen again. And very soon, when you pick, I will not pick your call. I will just press a button that will forward you to the person who can help you. And that person who can help you is the person who will enable you, and you can stay and you can do whatever you want. Because me, checked out. I'm tired. I'm over it. But this is not something that I've ever said to any of the women that I've like met along my life journey, where I found myself in this position where I'm like, girl, this is draining. Because you know what? I feel bad. Like, I think it's really hard sometimes to maintain friendships woman to woman with ladies who just won't fucking get it. Like, it's really weird watching women just be acting dumb like over men. And I consider it acting dumb when it's like, you just don't want to leave because you think that's the only guy you can get. That's sad times. It's sad times when you keep going back and the guy knows that you're going back because low-key you think he's the best you can do. God forbid. Do you know what keeps me going, right? No matter how well things are going with a man who I like, I always remind myself that I can do better. And it doesn't mean that I'm going to necessarily leave him because better is out there. It's a reminder that should shit hit the fan, I am capable of being loved even more than this man loved you when things were at its best. Should shit hit the fan, I am capable of being treated even better than this guy was treating me when things were at their best. Should shit hit the fan with this guy, I am capable of meeting a man who has even more money. And should shit hit the fan with this guy, I am capable of meeting a man who will like me even more than I like him, compared to what I'm dealing with this guy who I for a while thought he liked me more than I liked him, but clearly it's not the case anymore, is it? Clearly not. No. So I just think a lot of women give your power away too soon. And it's just, it's very disappointing to see it happen, because it's like, this is the stuff that I wish I could say to those women directly, but I'm not going to say that because I'm not bad mind. I'm not going to say that because I don't believe in kicking someone while they're down. Unless you're a sub and you've paid me to do that. Joking. Wow, who said that? That's crazy. But no, I mean it. Like, I don't believe in doing the whole I told you so to women who in the past I've told them, this guy, if you stay, he's going to do it again and you're going to look stupid each time. When it does happen, I don't say I told you so. I just say, well, how do you feel about the pattern that's being created here? Like, I try to ask questions that will hopefully encourage them to see the loopholes in their own decision making. Most times it don't work because straight women are what? Insufferable. What I like to do is try and use the reverse psychology of, do you think that's the best you can do? Or I'll use phrases like, well, if you think that's what you deserve, then you should stay. I'm hoping that in me saying that, you're going to be like, I don't deserve this, so I'm going to leave. But you'd be surprised how many women will be like, good point. They're still there. I don't know how to help them, you know, because to me, that's not a boyfriend. That's a trauma bond. They'd be like, oh, this guy, he was really mean to me yesterday. I don't like the way he spoke to me. And then when I brought it up, he kind of like gaslighted me and turned it on me. And then a few weeks later, we had an argument. And then he took my phone out of my hand and he wasn't giving me my phone because I said that I wanted to leave and he wouldn't give me my phone. And I'm like, okay, so you're dating a man who's controlling. Okay. So what do you want to do about that? Are you going to leave once and for all? Oh, no, we spoke about it. He said he's sorry. Okay. Oh, God, the biggest eye roll. Like, I'm so over it. This is why I don't do coaching. Do you know how many women have messaged me asking me to coach and consult for their situation? If I was to have said yes to all the women who have offered me money to coach them or consult for their male-centered situations, I'm talking thousands. I'm talking thousands in the 5 figures of pounds I would have made by now. I don't feel comfortable taking that money because I believe that's a waste of your money. I believe that you should use that money to go and start a business. I believe you should use that money to go and invest yourself into a hobby that you like. I don't believe in using that money to pay a woman to tell you what you already know. That's why with this podcast and with my Patreon, it is the hope that you will use what you've heard and take action in a way that's authentic to your style of being and apply it in your own life, and you will see results. You don't need to pay someone £1,000 to tell you to leave that man. Speaking of Patreon, did you know I've got a Patreon? Have you heard of Patreon? If you don't know about Patreon, Patreon is essentially a subscription-based service where wonderful people like yourself can subscribe to their favorite creators, where it is a fixed monthly price for a membership. Over here on patreon.com/theslumflower, we have a 1-tiered system where you have access to bonus podcast episodes where I touch on topics that I just know I would get flamed for if I put it on the main podcast feed. Not only do you have access to bonus podcast episodes, you also get twice a month mini episodes where I share a little thought stream on something that I think needs talking about, but in a more bite-sized, punchy manner. Yeah. I also do a lot of writing on there where I share my ideas about certain concepts that are inspired by stuff that's happening in the world right now pertaining to women and men in their dating dynamics, as well as answering some of you guys' questions. There is a very fire group chat going on in my Patreon. It moves at the speed of light, and once in a while, I have a look at it to see if there's recurring topics that require me maybe making a bonus episode about or a mini episode about. And I love it there. I try not to interfere too much because you guys are really going for it. And it's so beautiful to see that sense of community where someone will ask a question about a guy and then there's like already 5 women being like, girl, you got this. Don't let me talk to you like that. Here's what you should do instead. Remember what Chidi said in the other episode. Remember that. Try that. Like, it's so cool to see this happening. So thank you to those of you who are active in the group chat, period. There is also voting power. Sometimes when I'm considering choosing between 2 episodes to release, I get you guys to vote for what you want. And you get your way. I also have a 65-page guide called the Dilemma Manual. It is a PDF ebook that I created specifically, exclusively for those who are on my Patreon to access it for free. And it is a collection of dilemmas that have been anonymously sent in. And I use those dilemmas to share long-form answers in writing as to how I would navigate that situation. So if you are looking for a sense of community and you are in a place where you want to lean into your disobedience as a woman who dates men, then I would encourage you to join my Patreon over at patreon.com/theslumflower. If you are a part of my Patreon, big love to you. Thank you for supporting me. If you're not yet a part of my Patreon, give it a go. Why not? And if you're not interested, that's fine. Thank you for even listening to this podcast. And there are other ways to support me, including giving this podcast a 5-star rating on whatever streaming platform that you use, because it does boost the podcast algorithmically, which means that more incredible women like yourself will discover the podcast. And if more women discovered the podcast, then ideally more women would think like us. And if more women thought like us, then it will be a little bit more normalized for men to raise their standard of behavior, rather than it being a fucking novelty for a man to pay a fucking bill for once in his life. Anyway, patreon.com/theslumflower. I will see you over there. Now back to discussing this boyfriend/trauma bond that you're lugging around. Because in my opinion, the reason why there's a hesitation to let go of this man is because this is about control. And this is about control on your end. You're actually the one who's being controlling. Not even that you're controlling him. I think that there is a misdirection of this controlling energy. You're now forcing this to work because you've already spent 2 years with him. This is the dumbest thing that I think women do, right? They'll be like, I've already been with this guy for 3 years, and for all of the 3 years, it hasn't been working out, but there has been some good times. And I don't want to throw away these 3 years, so I'm going to try and make it work. That's dumb. That's fucking dumb. That's really fucking stupid. You know why that's stupid? Because to me, I see it as you've done a degree, you're in your 3rd year of the degree, and you're realizing, you know what, I actually don't like this. This isn't fulfilling for me. And I've ended up discovering that there's another calling for me in a completely different path. And I feel invigorated, inspired, and excited when I am putting my energy into this alternative calling. But when I put my energy into completing the rest of this degree that I'm in my 3rd year of, I don't feel excited. I feel dull. I feel like I'm burdened by this, and I feel like I'm wasting time. What do I do? Do I just continue to spend more time in this degree only to remain or potentially embark on a career that I know for sure I'm not going to enjoy? But then, I don't want to lose those 3 years of a degree that I've devoted to something I don't enjoy. So I guess I'll just stick through with this career that I'm definitely going to fucking loathe. Or should I accept that 3 years have gone by? It took me 3 years to realize I don't like this thing. And maybe if I gave myself the opportunity to just pivot and try something new, I will experience the fulfillment that I know I deserve to have, and I can just say goodbye to those 3 years and call it a day and live the rest of my life having more time to do more of what I want. What should I pick? Such a hard choice. Don't know what to do. You'll be surprised how many women will still choose, actually, I'm going to just stay in the degree because I don't like it, but I guess I've already spent 3 years. That's what women are doing with men. Every day I'm like, this is so stupid. And I'm making it a thing to call the behavior stupid because it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's actually ridiculous. It is worse to spend 3 years and an extra day in something you don't like than it is to spend 3 years, recognize it's not working, and allocate that extra day plus forever onwards to what you do like. The more time you're spending in what you don't like, the less time you have to enjoy what you do like. I don't know for straight women, you know. I really don't know. I don't know again what to tell you people, because I think a lot of you are bored and you're lugging that man around, calling it a boyfriend, so that you can have something that you can point your procrastination towards. You're calling that thing a boyfriend. You're calling that trauma bond a boyfriend. You have male friends that will probably even treat you better than this thing you're calling a boyfriend. And those male friends have no romantic inclination towards you. They're just giving you basic human treatment. So I don't know why you're clinging on to this man. I don't know why you keep on going back. It's very embarrassing. It's extremely embarrassing. I am deeply disappointed. I'm so disappointed. And I say disappointed because it is disappointing to see women throw their power away. But I'm not saying I'm disappointed from a place of me having some sort of status in your life where you have to consider my disappointment as something that's personal. Because I don't know you personally. To whoever is listening or to whomever this applies to. It's never personal. Even if I know you personally, it's your own time you're wasting. It's not my time, you know. Because the only time of mine that's being wasted is me listening to you complain about this thing for the 10th time. But you know what I now do to make this effective for me? When you're complaining for the 10th time, I am doing one of two things. Depending on who is doing the complaining and how long I've known that person for and the fondness I have for this woman, I'm either, one, dissociating while you're complaining. So the phone is on speaker and I'm just thinking about what I want to do tomorrow. What am I going to wear? What wig should I curl my wig? Actually, that wig has already been curled a lot this week. Let me use the other wig and detangle it with some conditioner. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Also, should I meet up with my friend on Thursday? While you're whining, and then the next day he texted me and I was like, while you're doing all that, I'm thinking about what I'm wearing on Thursday. I'm thinking about, should I go pole dancing this week or am I tired? So that I don't lose my mind in this rubbish. That's one of the things I'm doing. Or when you're doing that repetitive complaining, I'm using you as a lesson of what I don't want to become. I'm using your situation as proof that I was right. I'm not going to say it to you because that's rude. I'm not going to be like, I told you so. Or I'm not going to be like, see, you don't learn your lesson. I'm just going to be like, when I said to this woman in the beginning, this is not going to work, I don't think I had enough tangible evidence I could point to show her as reasoning as to why I think it's not going to work. But I was very sure at that time when I said it, that's not going to work. We're now a year in and it's not been working. There have been over 5 opportunities where I've seen my observation come true. So when I'm observing this rubbish, I'm seeing that, see, I was right. And I'm learning a lesson through her experience. I'm learning that actually men don't change no matter how nice you are to them. Men don't value being given a second chance if the second chance comes for free. And off the back of that particular point, men don't value being given a second chance if they didn't have to grovel and work for it harder than they had to grovel the last time. With each repeat offence, you have to modify the punishment and tailor it to the impacts that it caused you. The punishment needs to be proportional. You lot ain't punishing men enough, and that's the problem. You be going back, and then you're going straight back into barebacking. I'm tired, man. I'm sick of it. I'm actually so sick and done. Irritated. And that's why I'm not coaching nobody. If you offer me £10,000, I would prefer you use that £10,000 to start a business and let that business be the thing that keeps you off these fucking streets, away from these men, because you clearly have nothing to do with your time. And it bothers me a lot because in my personal opinion, I think you should not be looking for a boyfriend if you have not built a stable foundation for yourself. What does that mean? What that means is if you're of adult enough age to be dating, to be considering marriage as something that you look forward to within the next 5 to 10 years, you're on the other side of 27 and onwards. Yeah, you're in your big woman age. Unless you have built a business for yourself, or you're in a job that is stable enough and you have enough of an income where you can thrive for yourself, maybe you have enough of an income where you can afford a few nice things for yourself. So that you're not relying on any man. You're not seeing this man as, the only way I can have this kind of beneficial lifestyle for myself. And part of why I think it's important to have built a foundation for yourself, that also includes having hobbies that you've built for yourself. Because even when you're in love with this man, you need to still have a life. You need to have things to do. You need to have a curriculum beyond him. A boyfriend is not a plan. A boyfriend is not a hobby. Okay? I've seen it happen many times where beautiful young women, they will stop in their tracks to focus on being in a relationship. I'm like, that's dumb. You're not getting that time back, girl. You're not getting that time back. Being in a relationship is not vocational. That's not doing much for you. Even if that guy is giving you money, as he should be, are you putting that money into your business? Are you putting that money on top of your own money that you're making? Are you flipping that money for your own greater good? Are you flipping that money for more and more independence for yourself? Are you being smart with how you reveal what you're doing with that money? Do you have a strategy? Because like I said, a man is not a plan, and hope is definitely not a strategy. If you're hoping that he'll be faithful and off that hope, you'll both get married and you can just be his kept wife. No. What you should do with that boyfriend of yours is make him work for you without him feeling like he's working. So anytime he gives you money, oh, baby, that's so sweet of you. Oh, you're so thoughtful. You go and use that money to, even if it means you paying to do a fucking IT course, coding course, songwriting course, guitar course. You can find courses for literally anything in this London here. If you live in London, there are courses for... Listen, anytime I get small money now, yeah, I put it towards me doing a course in something that I've always wanted to do. So I want to do a guitar course because one time, a guy who used to be a friend of mine, and I say friend loosely because he's actually such a loser for what he did. A guy who used to be a friend of mine, friend in air quotes, I was paying him to teach me guitar lessons, and then one day he ghosted me, and I felt like all my money has gone to waste because I was paying you for guitar lessons and I was seeing him on a consistent enough basis, but it just felt like he didn't value the fact that I was actually his student and that there is a level of consistency and a more longer term dynamic that I was needing to have with him until I feel more independent to explore what I've learned by myself. That was bad man of him. But now I'm like, okay, I know I can't rely on a man for that. I'm going to go and actually pay for a course to go and learn in an environment where I know I'm going to have once a week dedicated time to this thing that I want to learn, and I'll have access to people who actually are being paid to help me. Outside of guitar course, you know me, I love burlesque, I love pole dancing. I put my money into doing pole dancing lessons. I also do dance heels, choreo lessons. I really struggle with orientation, but I always go in with the belief that whilst I might not grasp the routine accurately, my brain will take what it needs and leave what it doesn't. So that means that there might be one or two moves that I will leave with, and when I'm training or dancing in my own time, those two moves that I randomly picked up from having gone to maybe 4 choreo classes are moves that will be part of my own language of movement. So there is still value in what I'm learning, even if I'm not taking everything from what I was given to learn. And that way, the money that I'm pouring into my creativity and into my passions pours into me. And when men are pouring into me, I am pouring into myself. I'm not using the money they're giving me to pour back into them. Fuck you, bruv. Fuck you very much, actually. This is all about me. And you don't have to be here, sir. And I just think that not enough women are selfish enough for the game of dating men. I think if you're choosing to date men, you're opting into a game. I've said this several times on this podcast. You're opting into a game. So do you want to play or get played? And are you playing the game on hard difficulty, medium difficulty, or easy difficulty? Because if you're not very experienced in getting your way with men, start on easy difficulty. Start with the men who you know like you way more than you like them. They might not be the best looking guys. They might not be your type, but this is an opportunity for you to learn how to not operate in a place of attachment. If you're someone who's a lover girl, oh, you're shaking at the idea of a man being in love with you and you love that, it's addictive for you to be in them situations. It's not in your interest to go for a guy who is super good looking and is flashy and has all the money. Like, if it's everything you've ever wanted in a guy, and you don't have the mental strength to walk away from him, you're going to end up being his little bitch eventually. He'll have the power, and that's crazy because you're the one with the pussy. To me, it's diabolical to see that happen, but women choose their trauma over themselves every day. And me, what I'm not going to do is come and force somebody to do something. If you like decay in that man's arms, that's your own. That is you that will end up in McDonald's. It's you that will end up there. I'm not doing that. You could not catch me dead or alive doing that rubbish with a man. I don't feel the fear of dying alone. Unfortunately, I'm never alone. I can't catch a fucking break, yeah? I'm joking when I say unfortunately. It's not unfortunate that I'm never alone. And what I mean by I'm never alone is that I have people in my life who love me. I've got really, really, really young people in my life who love me. I've got people of my age who love me. I love people too. Like, you're never alone, okay? Unless you have slipped between 2 rocks in the Grand Canyon, you're never alone, all right? So I think we need to cut this shit out. Talking about something, oh, I'm scared I'm going to die alone. Baby, the casket only has room for one person. So yes, you are going to die alone. So overcome that fear. But in terms of this whole idea of like, you feel you're going to spend your end days by yourself, you're a woman. Women are almost always needed by somebody. So best believe you're not going to catch a break. So don't be careful what you wish for, innit? Yeah? Because some women crave the alone time more than anything, especially those who are mothers. Yeah? But that's another topic for another day. But what I'm saying is, like, if your fear of alone is what's motivating you to stay with that trauma bond that you call a man, yikes. Yikes. Yeah? Big yikes. Not the small yikes, the big yikes. But if you're engaging with men because you're bored and you like the ego boost, you can easily work your way out of that. I am very against the idea of, oh, we've already been together 2 years. I don't want to let that time go to waste. Baby, I'm going to hold your hand gently when I say this. The time has already gone to waste. Yeah? You spent 2 years in something you didn't like. Accept that the time has already gone to waste. It's now a question of, do you want to waste another 2 years? Yeah? Because I've met women much older than me who have, I kid you not, given 20 years to a situation they didn't like, and they still end up having to at some point start again. There's no shame in starting again. Whenever you start again is whenever you start again, but you're better off losing 2 years to a man that you don't like than 20. Yeah? And you don't want to take 20 years to find that out, I promise you, because that's giving bitter auntie. And that's why I understand that and I resonate with the bitter aunties, because I too will be a bitter motherfucking ass auntie if I spent 20 years with the wrong man and I'm looking at women who are the age of the relationship that I was in. Do you know how crazy that is? That's why when I see these bitter aunties, they're looking at these 20-something-year-olds on the train doing, hey, you thought I was feeling you? Hey, that nigga much. They're looking at these young girls on the train in their little micro IMGR mini skirts and they're side-eyeing these young girls because that girl is the same age as the duration of time they wasted with the wrong man. Oh my God, Jesus, fix it. Hey, God. And that's why I say it couldn't be me. I refuse for it to be me because I'm grateful that I have witnessed everything happening around me and I allow it to validate and support the idea that I have formed, which is couldn't be me. Couldn't be me. Not every woman's going to learn her lesson, and I feel sorry for those women. Part of me doesn't feel sorry for them because they like man more than they like being respected, but that's everybody on their own, boy. Me, I know myself well enough to know I'm way too self-centered for that. I'm glad that I have a apathetic, a little narcissistic streak in me, enough for it to be where I know how to respect people. But when it comes to dealing with men, I love it when my narcissism kicks in. I'm like, yeah, gaslight him back. Yeah, love bomb him back. Yeah, let's both lie to each other. Or as Megan says, fuck it, guess we both ain't shit. He lying to me, I'm lying to him. Oh my God, guys. I'm going to wrap it up here. Thank you for listening. I really hope you enjoyed this episode. I bloody did too. I don't enjoy talking about this because I love women. Yeah. I love women so much that I want to see us all be treated well because there is enough money to go around. You know why there's enough money to go around? Because men are never going to stop being horny, which means there's enough dick to go around. So don't fall for the hype that, men who are going to take care of you are only in the 1%. Ugh, girl, it's giving scarcity mindset. It's giving lack. Boo. That statistic is not true. Anyway, that's another conversation for another day. And off the back of that, I say, take care. And as always, I will catch you in the next one.